us down, and then they go ahead and do what they think is best for us. But if you don't even know what we think, and we're not making that known, I'm not just blaming government officials, because I think we do a poor job of telling them what we want. But it's like, when I don't know, it is so frustrating. And this is not new. This is not just Montana. I saw this in Oregon all the time. Is one voice, one side, the loudest, squeakiest wheel always got the grease. And then the other people were busy working and, like you said, taking care of their kids and things, and didn't have time to hang out with this, which is why it's so important what Tim's doing with the Broadwater County News, is writing these people so that they do have to be accountable and answer those questions. Because I don't think people here kind of understand. I could get my mother used to say, my tit in a ringer. She's a farm girl. I could get myself in some trouble with this, but that's the job of a news person, is to ask the questions that the community wants to have answered. And you may not always like the way they ask the questions, but you sure do want that person writing and going to those meetings and standing there and listening. And I would hope that our local officials would be much more open to answering those questions than what I've heard that they are, because that's the link right there to the community. So if you're not supportive of hard questions, it's so funny, Audrey, because I just listened to Jordan Peterson this morning talking about this very thing about classrooms and when he was working with people, that how people just don't want to look stupid. And it's like, it's okay. I think what's worse than looking stupid is being ignorant, and not even propose, or being maybe having a lack of courage to say, this just doesn't seem right, and I want better answers. And then if you go, like my wife and I did, and we got the answers, I understand a little better what was going on, but I still think it's wrong. And I don't have to change my mind. I just need to educate myself. But it seems like we're afraid to do that.
Yeah, when we're little and we're learning how life works, and we're teenagers and we make those mistakes, we stay out past curfew, or we run our truck down on E. There's life lessons to be learned with that, correct? And
Right.
So when we look at these kinds of things and we go, oh my gosh, my property tax bill is now $5,000 or $6,000. What mistake did I make to get there? Is it moving to Montana? We all love Montana. We're not going to argue that. But did I not pay attention to what was going on in my legislature? Did I not write my congressman? Did I not actively get involved in that kind of stuff? And I think that's what it is that I don't think it's any one person to blame. I think it's just kind of a societal norm that we don't want to question those things, and we don't want to ask those questions because it's scary and it's dangerous. And I will say, we are really lucky in Montana because we see our commissioners on the street. We see them at football games. We see them at community events. So we can ask those questions. We're very lucky in Montana. We have a citizen legislature. So any Montana citizen can go out and they can lobby and they can do their own hard work during the legislative session. And that's great. Like, we have better access. If you've spent any time in Washington, D.C., you know how hard it is to be able to testify in a congressional hearing. You have to get the little embossed invitation and they have to vet you. And you just don't go walking in there past the red ropes unless, you have the cred or the whatever to do that. So we're lucky in Montana that we don't have those kinds of obstacles. But we still have that obstacle of ignorance of how do we do that? And I think part of that does fall on those of us that have that knowledge to share it with other people, get them involved. Yep. But one of the things I like to tell people when they come to me and go, my property taxes is this high, is my first question is, so are you going to run for office? Oh no. Are you gonna go lobby the legislature and say, hey, I'm a 6th generation Montanan and I have to sell off X amount of acres to be able to pay my property tax bill? Well, I don't have time to do that. And so if you don't make the time, they're going to make the time to make sure you don't have the time. Right. And so that's going to affect it. We look at, I have a sophomore in high school. My son's 16 and he can't wait to get out of Montana because it's just not enough for him. And I go, why is our biggest export in Montana? It's not timber. It's not oil. It's not cattle. It's our children. Why are our kids leaving Montana in droves? Economic issues, not, being able to afford a house. Like, what does that look like? And so how do we keep those kids that we're educating in Montana for all those money? How do we keep them in Montana? Most of them go away and they come back. They're like me. They went off somewhere else and we came home and we chose to raise our families here. But is that opportunity going to exist for my kids or my grandkids? Probably not. That's the reality.
When you bring that up, now I'm mad at myself because I remember that when the announcement came out that the Democrats were asking the Republicans to go take a day and look at this property tax thing and have a special session and do something, and I did nothing. That was my moment when I could have called my representatives and said, I don't care if you're a Republican or whatever you are, get your ass in that special session and figure out how you're going to fix this. And for me, part of it is too, because I'm new to the state and I came here to assimilate, but I'm realizing I can't assimilation and apathy. You can't, I can't just shut up, and it may not make people happy. And I may be the part of the problem. I've been told that too. There's people like you that are part of the problem. Okay. But now I'm here and I want to be part of a solution. And, and I mean, I think it's, what I still see really, what I love about Montana is I still see these people, like I'll be walking downtown and I'll have